Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Patience. I decided to come at you guys with a little new one. So, in this one, I wanted to talk a little bit more about Batman and the franchise of where I think it's going, where I think it should be, where it's coming from, and things that I would like to see. Now, it's recently come to my attention that they're creating a new Batman game, a new Batman title, and also a new Batman movie, which I think should be neat. But unfortunately, I think the movie is going to be based on the newest Batman that was released, which I think is unfortunately a downfall simply because it wasn't one of my favorite Batman movies. Not that it was a bad movie at all, but we didn't really get much of Ben Affleck as a solo Batman on the big screen. And I think that was the perfect Batman to kind of create as an icon in order for games to be moved into the right direction. Why? The reason being is because his Batman seems more like the most original to me, if you ask me, simply because Batman is actually a ninja. He's not just a man in a suit going around as a vigilante trying to beat up typical bad guys, but he goes against super villains with super minds, and sometimes he wins and sometimes he loses. But we have to take into consideration that his approach to battling them is on a next level. Now, when we look at movies like the Batman and Superman, or the Batman vs the Superman, etc., we kind of lose grip of who the Batman actually really is as to how he was in the comics and in, the cartoons, especially talking the animated Batman or Batman the Animated Series. In Batman the Animated Series, we get to see just how intricate and sophisticated and quite technical, skillful the Batman actually really was. This guy could actually kind of dance about in the shadows, vanish as it were, like a demon. So a lot of these villains actually thought he was a demon because he could vanish and kind of like appear in random places and do amazing things from the darkness. So they would think that he was like a black ghost, as it were. Not only that, he also has like these kunais, which he calls the batarangs that he throws like a ninja. And not only that, but he's also very intellectual, as it were. He can kind of like break your mind down and interrogate you far deeper than your typical cop, no matter how excellent or superior that cop may be. The Batman will, interrogate you to the next level and even break your brain to leave you crippled and terrified, worse than what is his name? Is it the Crow? The one that sends you into like that illusion because he does his drugs kind of send you off into like a crazy place. Anyway, so this is what I would. This is how I've envisioned the Batman over many years. The Batman being someone that is more than that of just a man. He is a special character that was somewhat specially chosen to play the part as the Batman. Ben Affleck's version of the Batman was the closest to that Batman that we have seen and gotten thus far. Not just with the way how he approached battles, with his fighting style, which he tackles perfectly, and the attitude of the Batman, which he tackled perfectly, and the approach of Bruce Wayne, which he knocked spot on the head as well. But also with the fact of how he actually approaches battles, the way how the developers created this Batman was in that way of how the animated series Batman was from back in the 90s, from the animated series, which is where he did have that big, strong, bulky look for starters. He had that rugged kind of sound, and he was a bit more towards the shadows, kind of like a ninja. as just a man in a suit, similar to Christian Bale's version. Christian Bale went against Bane. Christian Bale's version of the Batman went against the Bane. I would have really liked to have seen Ben Affleck's version of the Batman go against Bane, and in this case using Bane via using CGI in order to really attain that big, bulky, scary, muscular man that we're used to from the cartoons, and having the Batman go against Bane in one of the craziest battles, because when Batman goes against these guys, especially in the cartoons, and how I would like to have seen Ben Affleck's version, it kind of leaves you with that kind of awe. We kind of capitalize that moment in games with the Gotham games that we have, the trilogy. We're able to capture that moment because after those boss fights, we're kind of like in awe, because we can kind of see the mightiness of the Batman and how great he actually is when it comes to not just fighting, but fighting these super villains. And some of these villains are super smart as well. But the element that's always missing is the fact that the Batman is a ninja. He's not just a man. So you could put any man in a bat suit, but he's not going to beat Bane, and he's not going to beat Croc. He's not going to beat any of these guys. Also, the Riddler's very special with his riddles. He's very smart in that regard. And when it comes to challenging people's minds, the Batman beats him. The Batman is like a demon. The Batman is like a ninja. The Batman runs around in the shadows, vanishes and appears. He kind of like does this illusion where he comes out of the shadow. He erects it, he comes like kind of like grows out of the shadow, and then that alone spooks out all these villains. And they also nickname him the Demon, because that's what he's like. And so these are things that I would like to see in the new title of a Batman game. Obviously we had Gotham Knights. I think that unfortunately was a bit of a fail or flop, simply because the Batman died in that. So we don't want to see a dead Batman, guys. We want to engage with the Batman. Taking this into consideration, another thing that I think would be very important is ensuring that we tackle the usage of GPUs, modern day GPUs, memory sticks, CPUs, and storage devices. All these things that gamers go out and spend a lot of money on. We don't go out and do this so that we can sit down and play Sonic the Hedgehog. What do I mean by that? I want to see bigger environments, open world systems. When I say open world, you create the entire planet and you can traverse anywhere in that planet. Better water systems, water that reacts to how we engage with the water. Weather, dynamic weathers, etc., etc., etc. Physics, like how things smash, when they smash, realistically. So if you engage with it, with your environment or with other characters, you might smash their bones, break their bones, or you might smash the building down. All these things help to how a player engages not just with the system and the environment, but their mission, how they approach a mission, whether it's stealth or whether it's like full-on brutal. Ben Affleck's version of the Batman, he had both the stealthy approach and he had the brutal approach. I think this is ideal to any Batman, both movie and gaming title. Anyway, guys, I wanted to leave it at that for now. I might drop more of these videos in the near term, just to keep us engaged in this matter. If you're down with what I'm saying, leave your thumbs on those, likes on those, comments down below. And if you have any queries, guys.